Hi, I'm Paul Giannamore. I'm an investment banker and I negotiate for a living. Today we're going to talk about valuation and why it's not just about the numbers. Valuation is storytelling. It's a story buyers tell themselves about risk, about cash flow, and about the future. Whenever a business owner asks me, what's my business worth? My response is always the same. To whom? What's your business worth to whom? To you, it might be worth one thing. To your cousin Eddie, who's got no money and no capacity to pay, it's worth something entirely different. Now, of course, the publicly traded behemoth in your industry, it might be worth something entirely different. A business that can acquire your company and capitalize on the technology that you've built over the years. So a business doesn't have one value. It is not objective. It's subjective. And beauty really is in the eye of the beholder when we talk about valuation. The discussion we had about Halo's acquisition of Verbell.com, I know it's an absurd example, but it proves the point here. I mean, what sort of moron would pay $240 million for a website that had no real technology, generating $800K in revenue and losing $5 million a year? Now, I know it was at the height of the dot-com bubble, but notwithstanding, there was one reason why Halo paid $240 million for Verbell. It was because 29-year-old Brad Keywell and Eric Lefkowski hired investment bankers. And those investment bankers scared the living shit out of Halo's management team. They came in and said, hey, there's this new technology. It's the web, .com. It's out in the ether. And it's going to destroy your business. So unless you guys pay up, we're going to take over. And unfortunately for Halo and its shareholders, management bought that line and ended up paying $240 million for that business, and it ended up in bankruptcy. Now, there was no one else on the planet who was going to pay that. You know, Eric and Brad, of course, thought they could take that business public for $1 billion. Maybe. I mean, again, it was the height of the dot-com bubble. But there was no one else that was going to pay 300 times revenue for a website. So that's an example of how valuation actually is subjective. And that was ultimately a story, a narrative that the buyer told itself about risk and about cash flow. They looked at Verbell and said, well, wait a second. We've got this old world promotional products company. So it's a company that does branded trinkets, right? You know, mugs and pens with IBM or AT&T on it. They were selling them through account representatives at the corporate level. Verbell came in and said, hey, we'll take this and we'll give IBM or AT&T its own branded apparel store so employees can log in and get themselves an IBM cup. Halo's management team listened to this nonsense and then told themselves a story about risk. And their story happened to be very, very wrong, unfortunately. So that demonstrates the subjective nature of value. So just like beauty, value really is in the eye of the beholder. What I hear most often from our clients here at Potomac is the extreme value in working with us years in advance of a sale. Not only do we help establish a fair market value in a range of investment values for the client, but we provide them a roadmap of everything they could possibly do in order to increase value and decrease risk in anticipation of a future sale. If you've got a sale on the horizon, whether it be 6 months from now or 5 years from now, we'd love to have a chat with you. Please use the contact form below in the description to reach out to us today. And feel free to share this masterclass series with somebody who you think might benefit from it. Again, I'm Paul Giannamore. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you on the next one.